From the air, Kaga-Bandoro in the northern part of the Central African Republic looks pretty peaceful. But what we're seeing is actually a refugee camp housing around 30,000 people. Some of them from the city itself. Half of those in the camp are children. Many have been badly traumatized, like Lucy Vlashu. She's 12 from a village about 90 kilometers away. Lucy was forced to flee when her home was attacked by rebels.
I have no family. I live with other people from my village.
A teacher from the village tells us that her mother was taken by the rebels. Lucy hasn't heard from her since. Everyone else in her family is dead. Stories like Lucy's are not uncommon.
One morning they came to our village. They had really big guns and started shooting at everything in sight. They even killed children. I ran away with my family and came to this camp.
After school, we accompany Akil back to his new home in the refugee camp. Only his grandfather is there to greet him.
It's very hard to survive here. There's not much aid, and we no longer have fields to plant things to eat. Only God can help us.
The camp went up a year ago, practically overnight, after an armed group attacked the Christian district of the city. Seeking protection, the people there fled to UN troops stationed nearby. Kaga-Bandoro is a divided city. The small river that flows through its geographic center serves as the border. The center in the northern districts is in the hands of the Muslim rebel militia called Seleka. The southern districts are occupied by their largely Christian opponents, known as the Anti-Balaka. Many houses are deserted here. Next to that are the UN barracks. The Kaga-Bandoro refugee camp grew up next to its protective fence. The Blue Helmets took up positions on the city's only bridge in an attempt to keep the two warring sides apart. But the raids continue. There are around 12,500 UN soldiers in the country. Only a few residents have dared to return to their homes. Florentine Dambeti lives in a hut built amidst the wreckage of his former farm, which was destroyed by the Seleka.
I can't sleep here anymore. A woman was robbed here yesterday. Someone robbed her of 25,000 francs. I spoke with the authorities about the security situation here. It's not safe in this part of the city.
Donig Delu has worked for UNICEF in the Central African Republic for years. The Kaga-Bandoro camp is just one of many in the country, she says, and things are getting worse.
The humanitarian needs are increasing. Sadly, more and more people are under attack, are IDPs. We have 600,000 people who are internally displaced within the country, which is what it was at the peak of the crisis in 2014. So there's still a lot to do.
Among the refugees, tens of thousands of children who were taken up by armed groups. The UN is trying to liberate as many as possible from the warlords and rebels, but many struggle to reintegrate into society. Many of the girls were kept for years as sex slaves.
I was 12 and lived in Bangui. An armed group forced me to go with them. Since then, I've lived around here. I'm 17 now. It was terrible. I saw and did the most awful things. The life I had all those years was no life at all.
There's no safe haven for children in this environment of violence. At least there's a playground in the camp. But the legacy of war is unmistakable even here. Sometimes Akil spends time with other children in the camp in the afternoon. But nothing is like it used to be.
I had a good life in my village. I had lots of friends. We had a lot of fun together. We had school lessons under the big tree. In the evenings we sang and danced in the moonlight. But that's all gone. Many of my friends are dead, and the others are in refugee camps.
Lucy and Akil share a similar fate, and they now face a highly uncertain future. And as it stands now, a peaceful solution between the warring parties seems unlikely.